Welcome, citizen, to another Starcraft Nation broadcast. This is your host, Venerati, bringing you a CheckPrime special today. It's not too special, but what's special about this match is who he's going up against. Oh, look at that. That's right, it's your favorite boy band from the 90s. Yeah, special. Not really sure if this guy knows who Hansin was, but, I mean, he's from South Korea, so it's very plausible that he doesn't. If he did, I guess that makes him that much more of a baller, but we're going to go ahead and go with the fact that he didn't know. So, what we're going to see today is some ZVT top-tier stuff coming out of South Korea. And CheckPrime, as I had a couple of casts with him before, done really good in the past, and Hansin is going to bring some... Hansin's going to be facing a new Zerg this time, because this is actually after the new patch, so we're going to see roaches being utilized and using that 4 range instead of that 3. It's only +1, but it seriously does make a lot of difference. I myself have used them recently after the patch. I've been really impressed with their viability on the battlefield. It's really nice to not have to run up and basically have to run at the heels of your enemy and then shoot. You can actually peg them from a little while away, and we'll see CheckPrime in the next cast actually do that against Hansin. This is a best, it's not a best of 2, but it's out of 2, so we're gonna see them go at it twice. And of course, the build order that we're seeing Hansin actually not all the way block it off at this point, but he is not really expecting to be rushed, I guess. I don't know. A lot of the top-tier players I've seen playing as Terran will actually build a supply depot here and then have a barracks and then fly it over if they scout the Zerg opponent is actually pooling early. But we're seeing a pretty standard hatch pool combo coming from CheckPrime. So CheckPrime is going to go ahead and claim that natural pretty early on before he actually gets any sort of military units out. Pretty standard shenanigans. Also, want to make a quick note that the supply depots got buffed a little bit. They're up to 400 HP, so not sure if that is a full Baneling more or not, but a little more robust, you know, whatever. Every little bit counts when you're trying to hold that door early on as a Terran. Also interesting that Hansin didn't choose to take this spot right here. I know I mention it a lot, but in this map, I really don't see very many reasons not to. Because to block it off, to block this ramp off here, you have to build the same number of units as you would here. In fact, two barracks factory, whatever the combo that you want to use, will block this off quite well. And, you know, it's however you choose to do it, really. And Hansin has opted not to. Instead, he's going to sing his boyish little songs. So we do see a Roach Warren coming on for CheckPrime. CheckPrime is going to take advantage of those roaches, as I stated earlier, and we're going to see the Queens come online. Now, real quick, let's go ahead and look at this. We have 2 starports coming up for Hansin. So Hansin looks like he's either going to do some early Viking pillaging, or he's going to go for the Banshee harass. But CheckPrime does have his Overlord over here, and let's go ahead and see if he actually sees that. Come on. There we go. Yeah, he will get one of them. So he is in the know that Hansin is up to some shenanigans. All right, apparently I cannot press E. So let's go ahead and see what he's got going on here. He doesn't. I don't know if he actually did make any sort of realization that we did see that starport. We are actually going to see a starport switch out up here. So great utilization of the tech lab instead of building a separate tech lab for the starport, saving every penny that he can. And he's going to go ahead and pump out 2. He's going to pump out 2 Banshees. Banshees. And in response, we see another Queen coming online. Actually, we're going to see 2 Queens come online for CheckPrime. CheckPrime, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and bring up the lair. So that is... CheckPrime does recognize the Banshee danger, and he's going to go ahead and get those Queens. Those Queens are so good against Banshees, especially cost-wise. The Queens, of course, only being 150 minerals. The Banshees are kind of expensive. Not necessarily, well, they themselves do cost a fair amount, but it's getting there that is really the cost issue in my mind in this. And we're actually going to see a scouting factory. Pretty common. I like to do it, especially if you're not going to go mech. That factory will just kind of sit there unused. Might as well have it fly around for eternity. By the way, I don't know if y'all think about this, but you gotta love the fact that the Terran units can basically fly for forever. Pretty cool if you're Terran, pretty not cool if you're not. So we go ahead. CheckPrime has these queens coming up here to the main, but they are stuck without any sort of skin highway, so these Banshees are going to get a couple of pot shots off here unmolested, but these Spore Crawlers do come online, so the Banshees are forced to retreat. Those Spore Crawlers just really tear into those Banshees. Banshees, of course, being light armored vehicles, do take a lot of damage, and of course these queens are not happy about this factory floating around their base, so they are going to hold hands and basically try to shoot this down, but I do not believe they're actually going to be able to get it. We do have the creep tumors going ahead and spreading out, so CheckPrime is doing a good job of basically paving that skin highway out there, but he does not choose to persecute the factory any longer. And these Banshees are going to go ahead and persecute and try to get that. And we do have another Banshee back here being healed up by the local pit crew, so good job by Hansin there. And we do have these queens coming up here, and they do not like these Banshees at all. They are basically just telling them to F off. No me gusta. So these Banshees do wisely retreat, because these 3 Banshees do not have cloak, and they will not be able to stand up against these 5 queens. These 5 queens were just too much, especially with Transfuse. If CheckPrime does any sort of micro on them, they will be able to heal themselves pretty much. And now that we have the lair, I don't think that we even have a... Do we have an observer up for CheckPrime? I do not believe so. So CheckPrime kind of leaving himself in a sore spot if Hansin had chosen to get the cloak upgrade, but Hansin opting out on that. And these Spore Crawlers would be able to give sight for the cloaked units, but these Spore Crawlers are not everywhere. There aren't enough of them to give complete coverage. But we do have the Mutalisk online, so these Mutalisks are going to be able to punish these Banshees. These Banshees are going to basically be forced to run away, and we're probably going to see most of these Banshees go down. These Banshees are slower than the Mutalisk, and they are just going to get slaughtered here. Of course, Hansin doing a good job at splitting up the units, forcing CheckPrime to micro them if he chooses to knock them all down. So we might see these get home safely. This one, unfortunately, is not going to. She is just getting a glaive straight up the tailpipe. And, well, oh, there she goes. Boosh. And the little propeller goes down. Either way, I'd like to point out this little observer just kind of hanging out here. He will be able to see what's going on. And these Mutalisks are coming up here into the base, and Hansin does have some Marines up here, so the Marines might be able to get it if there are some medevacs. The medevacs are almost done, so these Marines are able to cause CheckPrime to kind of shy away from it. Although there aren't that many Marines on the field, it would be a bloody battle one way or another. And with these medevacs coming online, the medevacs will be able to help these Marines just really seal the deal against the Mutalisks, even though they are not shielded. And we are going to go ahead and see that SCV transfer. So Hansin really feeling confident that he's going to be able to protect his outlier. And we do see a turret coming online. One turret isn't really going to be able to do enough against all these guys, but CheckPrime really not wanting to commit these really expensive units up there. And we do see that observer just take a couple of rounds from the turret right up its arse. And I don't know why Hansin didn't put these starports right here. These starports would have been able to block. I personally like to block every single time you possibly can, because you see Mutalisk on the, and when I see Mutalisk, I think Lings, and those Lings, of course, if they are stopped by these starports, will be relatively ineffective, and these Marines will get a lot of pot shots off, especially with the siege tanks back there. Siege tanks will just rip into them. So, it's not like it really makes that big of a difference if he doesn't do it, but if he did do it, the situation could arise where it could really benefit him if CheckPrime didn't back out. Just want to go ahead and make note that we see the Glial Reconstitution coming online, as well as the Centrifugal Hook, so we are going to see some Banelings come into play. And the Mutalisk trying to take down this refinery. CheckPrime doing a mediocre job of being a jerk and harassing Hansin. Hansin there, we saw the supply depot get that double-decker, oh, wow, what would you call that? Not a pimp house. What is that? Oh, what's on top of the skyscraper? Penthouse. There we go. See the penthouse suite on top of that supply depot. So someone's going to get lucky. Either way, not really a good use of your orbital commands, in my opinion. And we do have these backdoor Marines basically sitting there, seeing that CheckPrime is going to be pinging on these rocks. And these rocks, of course, if these Marines do get too close to the rocks, those glaives will go ahead and rake into them. So CheckPrime is just basically going to chew on this door for a while. Also, want to make a note of CheckPrime's expansion. CheckPrime has done a good job of continuing to expand while basically keeping Hansin on the back pedal with these Mutalisks. So, CheckPrime doing a better job of using these Mutalisks, making sure that Hansin's free time is used and basically keeping them at bay. Because if they go unchecked, they'll be able to come up here and just shovel all of these SCVs into the furnace. Of course, these Marines had enough of that crap going on the back door, so